Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today it is the pattern review for the Butterick 5209. I absolutely love this dress. I am so pleased with how it came out. So for this dress I actually tried something new for lengthening the bodice, and I put the length into the upper panels of the back and the front of the dress rather than the midriff panels. I found that when I alter midriff panels it tends to throw up the proportions of the dress quite significantly, and I wanted to try something different this time. Usually I wouldn't recommend adding length in this manner because it makes the actual seam line longer when you add length in that way, but because this has gathering points you can get away with it. Now for this dress that I've made here, I added the length to the front and the back bodice at the same point at the lower edge of both of those seam lines, and it worked perfectly for the front but it didn't work for the back. I added the length that I needed, which is why the dress looks like it does, and it does work, but it actually threw off the length of the side seam. So my front side seam was an inch longer than my backside seam because I'd added length in the wrong place. So I've shown you in part one of the sew along how to add the length correctly to get the dress, the side seams to match up properly so that you don't have to smoosh them in like I did. As I say, you can't tell when I'm wearing this dress that I have done that, but it is one of those things that it was just like, yeah, let's give this a go, it'll be fine. And then I realised once I'd got to the point where I was sewing it all in, it was like, aha, probably should have tried to put those pattern pieces together when they were flat to work out how they went together so that I could work out if this was going to work or not. But never mind, I made it work, and as I say, I have shown you in part one of the sew along how to correctly add length to the front and to the back. But I think if you want to take length out, that you might want to take it out of the midriff panel both in the front and the back using the lengthen and shorten lines, because yeah, for me the reason that I wanted to add length somewhere else is because with these types of bodices I find that this seam, if I hadn't added an inch of length, the seam would be sat up here and then I'd have ended up with a really long midriff panel which would have accentuated my long torso, which is something that I try to kind of disguise and camouflage. I decided to experiment and it worked. It worked, thankfully, which is good. This dress comes with an option to be a halter dress as well, so there's seam lines here, which is where adding the front sleeve on, and then the back piece just doesn't exist. It would make it a very low backed dress, and it would be something that I wouldn't be able to wear a bra with, so it wouldn't be something that I would be comfortable wearing, which is why I've added the sleeves and the back piece, because I will wear this all the time. I love this dress, it's very, very comfortable. I went with the skirt from the pattern for this iteration because I wanted to see how it came out. I wanted to try and follow the pattern as closely as possible. I have added length to the skirt and I'm very glad that I did. The lovely Liz from Liz Sews has made this dress up and she showed me a picture of it on her, and I know that she is either the same height as me or about an inch taller, and it sat on her knees, so I knew that I wanted to add some length to the bottom of the skirt, and I'm really pleased that I did. I can see myself using this bodice and using many different types of bottoms on this. I think it would look lovely with a half circle skirt, a quarter circle skirt, 3/4, full circle skirt. I mean, this is almost a rectangle that's gathered. It does have a bit more shaping in it than that, but if you had a border print, for example, a gathered skirt to the bottom of this would look really cool. I can also see myself, I've made this in a rayon. This rayon was voted for by the Patreon peeps, and if you have a look down the bottom here, there is a long list of their names going past. I picked the pattern myself. This pattern's been up for the vote a couple of times and it's never quite won. It's always been a close second. So I knew I wanted to make this pattern, and so this time I picked the pattern and I got the Patreon peeps to pick the fabric, and it was neck and neck with this fabric and then a black floral that I've actually ended up using for another sew along. And I'm really glad you guys picked this one because I love this print, I love this colour. Yeah, it's beautiful. One of the reasons that I was so desperate to make this dress is because it is a very reminiscent bodice for a lot of the Trashy Diva dress styles. I am a huge Trashy Diva fan. I used to have a giant Trashy Diva collection. I think I have one piece in my wardrobe now, which is a circle skirt. That's because as much as I loved the Trashy Diva pieces, they all were very, very short-waisted, so they were all coming to the bottom of my rib cage, and I was making do with them, and I wanted to start making some dresses for myself that were reminiscent of that style. This is a reproduction pattern from Butterick, and it's lovely. I really, really like it. Like I say, I don't think, in fact I will never make the strapless backless version because that just isn't me, but I will definitely be making more of these. It's awesome. Now, if you followed me for a while, you know that I absolutely loathe side zippers, and a lot of that has to do with my Trashy Diva dresses. Actually, majority of them were side zipper dresses, and they were a pain to get in and out of, an absolute pain. So when I saw this one was a side zipper dress, I was just like, oh, can I do the same thing that I've done before? Can I, you know, put a center seam in the back and put my zip in up to there? But when I looked at the pattern, the zip actually comes right to the underarm, and there is no tiny little bit of fabric that's attached at the top, so the zip comes right up to the underarm and opens, so that actually the whole side of the dress opens, and that is amazing. My main issue with side zippers is, as I say, there's usually that little tiny bit of fabric at the top on the underarm seam that holds everything together, and then you have to wrestle yourself through that gap there to get into and out of the dress, and that is my issue with side zippers. I hate them. So you know, when I saw this one had sleeves, I was like, oh, how is this going to work? It's fine. It comes right to the top. There's no tiny little bit of fabric. The side of the dress just opens. It's immense. I love it. So I did err a little bit on the side of caution with this dress for the sizing for the waist, and I think I could have gone down a size, and I think I'm going to go back and alter my pattern and tweak it just a little bit to shave a little bit off of the sides of this, because there's probably 2 inches of wearing, maybe 2.5 inches of ease in here, and that's a little bit more than I personally like, although it does make this dress very, very comfortable. I can see myself having a narrow skinny belt made to wear with this dress from this fabric. I think I have enough of it left to do that, and if not, then I have some black narrow skinny belts that I can wear with it, which will give me the cinched in look that I personally like. The next dress that I make from this pattern, I will definitely have just shaved off a little bit of the width from the waist seam, just because, again, that's a personal preference of mine. There definitely will be more of these made. As I've said, I can see this bodice on top of lots of different types of skirts. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. Another thing that I might like to try is another Trashy Diva dress that I love. They have built-in ties that go around the waist just for decoration. I really like how they look. I had a lot of them. I think they're called the obi dresses. The only caveat with that is I think they didn't have kind of the point that the midriff that this one has, so they might not work with this particular style, but I like the idea of trying it because I liked the cinched in effect that I got from having the ties, the fabric ties around the waist, and they were very easy to put in. You just put it into the side seam, and then you put it into the side seam of the zipper here. When you're zipping your dresses up with a tie like that, you do have to make sure that you keep the tie to the front so that it doesn't get caught in the zipper. Ask me how I know. I had a silk crepe de chine top from Trashy Diva that had that feature, and it had tiny little holes in it from where it got caught in the zipper tape when I was doing that up and down. So that is something else that I would like to experiment with this dress. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fabric as well. This fabric is from the Textile Centre. It is a rayon or a viscose. It is something that I bought for myself and loved, and then Dad did his usual thing when I was opening fabric. He saw it and went, ooh, shirt. So I actually bought him some of this for a Christmas. I think it was the Christmas before last, 2018. Mum has made this up into a shirt for him already, so Dad and I will have to coordinate to make sure that we don't end up down at the same event in the same outfit. Well, not the same outfit, but the same fabric. We've done that once before. Overall, love this dress. We'll make it again. No questions asked. Very, very happy. So there's a 3-part sew along for this dress. I will have linked the playlist to that down in the description bar down below. Hopefully it talks you through making the dress, like working out what size you want, making alterations to it, making the actual dress itself. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!